CHICKEN. Use the code CHICKEN in the shop.
Hey guys, the chicken is here. We are back today with another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we're going to show you what you need to get over the last couple days and basically the entire tech tree. But so here's where we're sitting now. We're up to 2384, and we got to here without shocks. So I think that we're in pretty good position to finish up the weekend. Still lots of time left. But yeah, so you haven't already, guys, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to use that code CHICKEN in the shop, just like the light on the thing says. So yeah, today was an absolute grind slugfest. There was no real breakaway points, but shock launchers definitely help. This base right here seems to be the meta base that everybody's running. It's tough to get more than a couple engines on it. We'll go over some of the replays here. Pretty well the only people that I lose to are guys that have 200% troop damage, and they either beat me faster or they fizzle and they get a little bit more percentage. So it's kind of been shifting. Like at first 7 sucked. Now 7's better than 6, which is good news. And then it went from being a fizzle fest, a base race, so trying to get through the base quickly as you could. Now, with everyone getting, having all the stats, getting the extra protos, all that stuff, it's turning more into a fizzle meta. So I think one of the main drivers of the fizzle meta right now is the fact that nobody really has any gunboat energy. So, I mean, you drop your heavy choppers and bombardiers, or heavy choppers, lasers, bombers. You get a second wind, you get a flare. If you have shock bombs, you can use those a few times, but then, that's why it's not really helping with the fizzleness. GBE allows you, in my opinion, to use a variety of troops. So, I don't know. That's where we're sitting at for right now. Anyways, so that's the base. Let's go over the tech next. So, let's look at this from the point of view of what do you need to get after you go to 7ER. So, if you're at 6, I mean, get everything. Get everything. The good news is, for 6ER guys, you're going to have a great chance at getting a good finish this season because you don't necessarily need to go to 7. Although that's, that window is closing fairly quickly. The maxed out tech tree is definitely better than 6ER. So, if you're 6 and can't go to 7, or you can only go halfway through 7, don't do that. Stay at 6, max it out, and then push and try to park it up early. So, So here's where we're at. So we got the 2 stat nodes. Now, I swapped these around quite a few times, back and forth, trying to find the right thing to work. I settled on the 240% building health. I was running more building damage before. Didn't seem to get ahead. I was running more offensive stuff before. It wasn't even really helping with the fizzles. I think what we need to do, my advice anyways, would be the protos here are very good for sure. Level 3 hot pots are very nice. Or a Flotsam cannon. I think what you want for the last protos is this hot pot and this Flotsam cannon. It's going to be nice because Flotties are good for bombardiers and especially laser rangers and that kind of thing. Super warriors are very good, but that's the icing on the cake. That's not the foundation. So we want to get that stuff, and then if you haven't already, because I know a lot of us skipped the shock launchers and shock bombs. I still don't have shock bombs. I would go shock launchers maybe first, depending on which stats you're running. If you're running more offensive, go shock bomb. Shock bomb is huge because it allows you to pretty well clear almost every base, if that's your issue. And if not, I opted for shock launchers because my base was set up for it, and I had all defensive stats. So I figured that would make more sense for me. But I think shock bomb is probably the better overall choice. Especially if you're at 6ER, you got to get that. So that's the tech. Now, let's go over some of these attacks, because these have been not too easy. Now, this guy was... What was this guy? This was a rank 24. He was a 7ER. So let's go over this here. So, there's different options here. What, is this 7 or 6? This looks like a 6, 2, 4. No, this is 6ER. Okay, so we'll go over the 6ER base real quick. I like dropping 6s from the right, even though I only have 40% troop damage. I have 0 troop health, which is not really ideal for these bases, but that's what we got to work with. So I like coming at it from the side, because if you zoom out, kind of, what's going to be the fastest way to take it down? It's not going to be to come from the bottom, because then, number one, you've got to go through all those mines, you've got to take down the extra defenses. It's kind of looking at it on an angle, blast through that stuff, and then move over this way, right? So that's how I try to spread these out. Now, if you lose a lot of troops right at the beginning, right out of the gates, then that's no good. So let's break it down into the middle first part of the attack. So I think it's very important to smoke grapplers early on. The last thing you want is a bunch of critter launcher critters being farmed up, because that can absolutely ruin your attack, because bombardiers don't do splash damage. So if you don't have a big group of heavies or riflemen from your second winds, then the critters can just slow you down to the point where all the defenses start to chip away, and then it ruins the whole hit. So I find it's very important to smoke the grappler until basically the heavy choppers are almost sitting on top of it. Now, this attack, I think, actually went really badly for me. Typically, I can take down the 6s a little bit easier than this, but this one I just got butchered. So I shouldn't have flared there. Maybe I shouldn't have gone from right at all. Maybe don't listen to that advice, because that attack really sucked. But yeah. Yeah. So anyways, smoke the grappler, get through the base, you're spamming second wind. Ideally, you come down on the top side and then go through, but let's get into another attack. Probably not going to see too many 6ERs going forwards here. So these bases. So this is the disgusting base. This one is really gross. This is the one that I'm kind of running. It's similar to mine. It's got a couple changes, but so how the hell do you take these ones down? I would say don't go from the side. Unless everyone's fizzling on you and not clearing any ERs, it's just a very risky way of doing it, because you're going to fizzle if you go from the side. And you don't have a lot of offensive stats. So, I mean, yeah, you can get 1 ER, maybe 2, but you're not going to get any percentage. So what I like to do is come from the top, because that at least guarantees you're going to get 30, maybe 40% if the attack goes pretty well. Again, without offensive stats, you're not clearing these bases. Without shock bombs, you are not clearing these bases. So we got to do the next best thing. So that has been just attacking it from this angle. I mean, you know, without GB, there's not a whole lot that goes into these hits. We're kind of just throwing them out. But from that angle, seems to do better than from down below. Let's see what we got next here. So this one, we actually got some engines. So this guy was, I think this was a troop damage player. I forget. And it's so weird this season, because, like, I can't recommend you guys the best stat layout to go with. Like, I can't say that the defense with the 240 building health and stuff that I'm running, I can't say that that's better than the troop damage stats. You know, obviously depending on your, assuming that you've got all the stuff on the tech tree, because sometimes they win, and it's really just the 50-50, like, duh, you know, like, who knows really. So play to what you're comfortable with. I would say experiment with them, and then whatever you can string a few wins together with, you know that that's going to work for you. That's typically how I gauge the end of the season, is if I know that I got up to a certain point, and it happens to all of us, where you get up to, you know, close to 24 or 23 or 22, whatever, and then you lose 5. If you were able to get there the first time, you're going to be able to get back. So that's kind of my rule of thumb when I look at this stuff. You know, if I know that it's capable of doing that. Now, if it's the opposite, where I'm, you know, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, win 1, lose 1, win 1, and I play for an hour, and, you know, over that span of time I haven't moved forward at all, it's like, okay, you know, that's not working, so let's try something else. But I'm also not saying to, you know, experiment with the stats at all. Clearly, everything does work. So, I mean, again, you got to find what you're comfortable with, what you want to run, and depending on what you have unlocked in the tech tree, go with that. Was this my attack? God damn, this was terrible again. Yeah, that 0 troop health is really not doing us any favors here. So there we go. I think what happened here, actually, now that I look at this, I think he retreated, and I just force closed. Yeah, so that's why I was like, what? I just let the guy run through me. All right, let's check this one. Okay, so this one's pretty standard. These bases I like to go spread from the bottom usually. I forget if that's what I did here or not. Or from the right. It just depends. I try to center everything around the grappler, and if we can focus all the troops to take everything down. It also depends how much defensive boost he has. he may have had more defensive boost, so then I opted to go up to top like this and then just guarantee at least 2 or 3 engines. That's why I don't like these bases, because you can hit them like this, and it's just guaranteed ERs. Like, I'm obviously not going to fizzle going up top like that. So yeah. So a couple different attack styles if you guys are running the low offense like I am. But yeah. So not on a win streak. But that's where we're at for right now, guys. And yeah, so the next plan, get the shock bombs, get to, 2420. It's probably where we want to be. So we're right there, very close. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, thank you so much for watching. That is going to wrap up the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative. Catch you next one, guys. Check it out. Bang, bang.